Have you ever opened up Instagram or sat down at your computer to write an email and thought, what am I even doing this for? Is anyone even seeing this stuff? Or better yet, is it actually leading to sales? If you've been feeling that way, then mama, you are not alone. And today's episode is for you when we return. Hey, and welcome, my beautiful people, to the Making of a Mompreneur show. I am your host, Rasheeda Green, the founder and CEO of Get Coaching, the host of this wonderful Mompreneur HQ community, and the creator of the Mompreneur Academy, where we help moms who are determined to find time, money, and location freedom to start, grow, and scale their online business so that they can build the life of their dreams without neglecting themselves or their families in the process. And we do that through coaching, content, community, and of course through the Mompreneur Academy. I am your biz coach bestie and your fellow mom on a mission looking to get you to your next level. And today, as we're talking about content that connects, how mompreneurs can show up, stand out, and sell with ease, I welcome you. I welcome you. I welcome you. If you are joining us via the live stream, please go ahead and put hashtag live and let us know where you are joining from. So if you're tuning in from New Mexico, or if you're watching from Colorado, New Jersey, New York, go ahead and drop that in there so we know the reach of the Mompreneur HQ community. And of course, if you are watching the replay, we love you. We still love you. Go ahead, put hashtag replay and do the same. All right, we want to make sure that you are aware of what it is we're talking about today, and that is content that connects, because we want to connect with our audience. And today we're talking all about content marketing, but not in the fluff corporate kind of way. We're getting into the real life mom life version of content creation and support. Content creation that supports your business goals. And guess what? Your bandwidth, because we don't have a lot of time, right? We don't want to waste valuable time just filling up time when we could be using that time with our family and loved ones. Because let's face it, when you're juggling a lot of things like snacks, sales, and your sanity, your marketing has to make sense. Now, we want to go ahead and dive into the content marketing and what that really is. But I want to make sure that you are ready to jot down these nuggets. So make sure you have your pen, paper, or digital device so that you can really get down to the nitty gritty of what content marketing is, how you can do it in a way that works for you and your lifestyle, and what kind of content actually leads to cash flow. So again, make sure that you have your pen, paper, or digital device and you are ready. And guess what? If you're ready, I want you to drop in the comments hashtag ready, ready. Oh, you don't have to repeat ready, ready. Hashtag ready. That's good enough. I was starting to get into my dance groove, but hashtag ready. Let me know that you're ready. Also, if you haven't already, make sure that you are liking, commenting, and subscribing wherever you are. So if it's on our Facebook business page, if it's on our YouTube, go ahead and subscribe so that we know that you are getting the notifications as soon as they drop. All right. So now we're going to start talking about what content marketing actually is. And we're starting with the basics, but we're going to keep it real. Content marketing is simply this. You should be sharing helpful, valuable, or entertaining content that naturally pulls people into your business, into your atmosphere, into your world, right? You want to have something that's going to be impactful. It's actually marketing that serves before it sells. Now we get that in as a principle, a biblical principle that we should serve. And why? Because as you give, God is giving to you. If you, whatever it is that you sow, you shall reap. So whatever you're pouring into will produce for you, get fruit. So it's all biblical principles in the same manner. And when you're talking about marketing. And so we want it to be where you're serving your people and not necessarily saying, oh, I want to be able to get this $12. I want to get this $20. I want to get this $200. I want to get this $3,000. I want to get this $10,000. Let's not make it about the dollars and the money and the cents, but we want to make sure that it is serving, because if you continue to serve and pour into your audience, you will reap the benefits, and that is the sales. That could be through a helpful blog post on how to organize your schedule as a work from home mom. These are things that you could that you can do on your own. You can create your own blog post. You can create a funny reel showing the behind the scenes chaos of launching a product with toddlers underfoot. So how would that look for you with a behind the scenes type of content that you could create? Now, that could be on your Instagram, that could be on Facebook, or what have you. It can be an email with tips on how to get more engagement on your posts without burning out. These are just examples that I'm sharing with you, but you can always plug and play, right? This is something for me, but it can be something for you. What is your industry? Who is your target audience? Those are the people that you want to attract and become your clients and customers. So whatever it is that you're putting out for content should be something that's going to attract them. And you want to make sure it's something that makes sense for your audience. And what makes it marketing is that it's intentional, right? Because you could be promoting, you could do all kinds of things just by saying stuff or showing up somewhere. But with marketing, it's intentional. You want to get yourself, your business, your products in front of your ideal customer. So every piece of content should be doing one of three things for you: attracting new eyes, one, nurturing your audience, two, or three, converting to a sale, sign up, or share. You want people to be able to do one of those three things, hopefully. You want all of those three things. But if you can get one or two, you're on your way, but it's not the trifecta effect, right? You want it to be all three: attracting new eyes, nurturing the people that you already have, and then converting the people that you have into actual sales and signups. And if they're not signups and sales, at least have them to share what it is that you are putting out, because sharing helps with virality. Sharing helps again with spreading the word. And these types of things don't really cost if you're getting free publicity from people who are sharing your content. So if you're just posting to stay visible, but not thinking about the why, then it's time that you go ahead and get clear, and you can start right now with this up with the help that we're providing you in this episode. So you want to make sure that you understand what marketing is and keep that buzzword intentional. You go ahead and put hashtag intentional in the comments, because marketing is very intentional. All right, now we're going to go ahead and move on to our second point, which is the Mompreneur map, laying your foundation. Now, before we start making content, we really got to lay the groundwork. What is and how do you make the groundwork? I call that the Mompreneur map, because without it, you'll be wandering through the content jungle. Okay, tie it and still lost. Right, every tree is going to look the same. You're going to be walking in circles because you don't have your Mompreneur map, and that map starts with your brand voice. How you show up. Your brand voice is how your business speaks, feels, and connects emotionally. So these are things that people are seeing, the emotions that they feel when they look at your content, read your content, and how it connects to them emotionally. Are you speaking their love language? And so something you can ask yourself is, if your business were a person, how would she talk? So what is it that she's saying? Now, is the person you're talking to sassy? Is the person cool, calm, and collected? Is the person deeply religious or spiritual? Or is this person witty and fun and free form, right? So these are some things that you can ask yourself, and the answer to this question can help you to establish your brand voice. For example, mine is nurturing, direct, and empowering, right? With the dose of scripture and a side of systems, if you will. So that's how I speak. And so when looking at my content, I do a little bit joking in there. I'm a little silly sometimes, but it's really nurturing to try to get people to a place where they're in their mindset is in a place to be able to receive all the things that God has in store for them, for you, in the sense that if you had a mindset block thinking that you can't do your own business because you have this, that, and the other thing going on, because you have children, because you have to work, I'm here to tell you, you can. And in a direct way of saying, this is how we do business. You can start your own business. This is how you set up your LLC. So that education is there. Then the mindset is there, the empowerment saying, hey, if I can do it, if she can do it, you can do it too. So this is the kind of way that I would do it in my business. But now I want you to write down 10 words or phrases that capture your brand's voice. So I said nurturing, direct, empowering, scriptural, and systems. Those are some things that I talk about as my brand voice. And so for you, what is 10 words? Go ahead, take your time and write that down. 10 words or phrases that capture your brand's voice. And then I want you to keep them visible whenever you're writing captions for your social media, for writing scripts for your videos, and even if you're getting ready to write a blog about whatever your main topic for your business is. These are great ways to be able to stay, I don't want to say stay in a box, but to be able to stay on task. No, there's a word for it. I'm sure you figured it out by the time I finish struggling. But yes, so it's a way to make sure that your content, you're being intentional about the content that you're creating, but also the words and the voice that you're using to speak to your audience. All right. So next we want to talk about in this mompreneur map and laying foundations is your buyer persona. Who exactly are you talking to, right? So we have a voice. This is how we speak. But now we have to identify who we're speaking to and what do they say. And we led with that in the previous point about what content marketing really is, and how if your business was a person, how would she talk? So now we're talking about, who is this person? Who is it that you're talking to? A buyer persona is like a character profile. We call it an avatar. We say sometimes an ideal client avatar. So that's like the profile of your dream client. You need to know a few things before you can settle in on who that persona is. And one of the things you want to know is what she's struggling with. What is the thing that she's dealing with? What are her pain points? What are her obstacles? What is it that she's dreaming of? So from her A to her B. So her A, this is where I am, this is what I do, this is where I am, this is what I focus on. Okay, so now, but what I'm doing all this because I want to get where? This to my dream, my destiny. I want to be able to work from home. I want to be able to have the time to go to my children's events. I want to be able to just get up and go on a vacation or trip when I feel like it and still have my business run and make money. So that is the kind of thing that you want to be thinking about, what she's struggling with, her pain points and obstacles, and then what she's dreaming of. That's her, what is her future self that she's trying to get to, from what is her B out of from her point A. And then what kind of content she actually enjoys. So whether that's going to be quick tips, whether it's going to be deep dives, whether it's going to be memes, what is she reacting to? What is the stuff the content that she really enjoys? And finding that out is really what's going to help you. Again, we're talking about marketing being intentional, content marketing being intentional. You then now can have a focus. So maybe she's starting out Sally, right? You're going to just give me, I'm gonna tell you, my avatar is Michelle. So you have avatar, you create this persona and you actually give that persona a name. Now, when you're speaking in your content, you're not necessarily shouting out your girl Michelle or your girl starting out Sally, right? But you can have that conversation, that monologue that you're creating with that person. So it's more personal, and the person on the other end, if that's for them, they're really going to be receptive of how you're saying it. So whether it's starting out Sally, this person who's new to coaching or overwhelmed by technology, whether it's scaling Shayla, right? She already has an offer, but she needs some content that converts. You might even have a silent Lisa, someone who's very quiet, who hasn't been commenting or anything, and really just watching you and following you, but never really buying anything, not yet anyway. These are different personas that you can speak to with your content. So now we already gave you one assignment. Excuse me, you're not my children in school, but I really think it's an action step that you can take to get further along in your content marketing journey. So we already talked about one tip and writing those 10 things down, those 10 words or phrases. And now we want you to go ahead and pick one or two personas and write down what questions they're Googling. So if it was starting out Sally, what do you think starting out Sally is Googling? She's probably Googling how to start something. Whether if you have a crochet business, she's probably Googling how to start a crochet business, how to create a crochet hat, or how to create my first crochet blanket. What is it that she's Googling? There's actually websites that you can use, Ask the Public and others, that you can get an idea of what they're asking for. There's also Just Google, because you can start typing in crochet and you'll see a whole bunch of options come down. Those are the typical or highly searched words or phrases. And so now you get an idea of what your ideal client or avatar or persona is actually looking for. And when you find that information, that is your content inspiration. That's what you're going to look to create in your content, because you've created your persona and you've watched or researched what it is that she's Googling, and now you're looking to be the answer. You're looking to fill that void by making sure that your content is answering her questions. And so now you see how you're building a relationship with this unknown person via your content. So make sure that you take the steps that I'm providing in today's show to really start moving your content further. Now, another thing you want to do, we talked about Google and we talked about how the words and phrases just popped up. There is a such thing as a keyword research. So, what is it that she's searching for? We talked about that. Keywords are the words and phrases that your audience is typing into Google, Pinterest, or even Instagram. You want to use these in your content so it shows up where they're already looking. So, keyword research is cool and necessary. Sometimes we call it SEO, search engine optimization, because you want your whatever the keywords or phrases are to show up in your content, so that when people start Googling how to crochet that hat, and if you have how to crochet as a blog topic or how to crochet as a YouTube short, your information would pop up as one of the options. Now there's deeper technology and backlinks and so forth, all this other stuff that you can use to make sure that your name comes up or your links come up on Google. So I'm not going to go into that, but you definitely want to make sure that you know that keyword searches are not just for blogs. You can use keywords in your Instagram bio. People can find you. Captions, people can find you. Reels and titles, YouTube descriptions, email subject lines, and more. Really, there are so many options. The thing is to make sure that you're using your keywords pretty much in everything that you put out on as far as your content, so that no matter what, there's like this flood of information being requested and your content is showing up for that inquiry. Now, some tools you might want to try are like Google autocomplete. And that's what we talked about, how you start right typing and Google finishes out the rest. There's Uber Suggest, as I mentioned, Answer the Public. And guess what? My good old pal, ChatGPT. ChatGPT can actually weed out and summarize some of the things that we're talking about here as far as helping you to research. It just takes some prompting and maybe even some prompting mastery to get ChatGPT to get you some real detailed information. But if you're not looking for deep in depth and just want something, you can use just a generic quote prompt. Hey, ChatGPT, I'm looking, this is my target audience. This is my persona that I've created. You can even ask ChatGPT to help you with your persona. Yeah, Chat. He's pretty good with that. You can even ask Chat and get that information and be able to utilize that information to create the keyword list that you need. And then as you create your content, you make sure you keep adding those keywords. And again, your information is bound to come up depending on the rest of the SEO work that you do, but you want to make sure you're using your keywords. So if I were you, I would suggest another, not assignment, what did I say? Tip, action step. Yes. So another action step that you can take is to actually keep a running list of maybe 20 to 30 keywords related to your niche, your audience, your offer, your voice, whatever it is. You make sure that you use those keywords, and you can rotate them. You don't have to use every single one, but you want to make sure that you have a running list of about 20 to 30 keywords. Now, as we talk about content that converts, we're choosing what and how to share. Once you've built your foundation and it's solid, you are ready then to create, but not just any content. We're talking about intentional content. And here's some of the things that you might want to consider. The content type. What format works best? There's no one size fits all. It's not, okay, if you're a B2B and you're a B2C, so you can't use this and you can't use that. Your audience really might choose to love the short reels with the tips. They might like the carousels. They might like long form IG captions that tell a story. They might prefer video emails, which I might start trying. Behind the scenes stories, maybe blog posts, or even LinkedIn articles that you might be able to create. Who knows? You need to find out what format works best for your audience. And the best way to do that is to listen to what they respond to. So each week, try one of the formats, try something new. If you always do long form, try short form. If you've never done video emails, like me, I'm going to try it. Think about those video emails and then track your engagement and save what works. So if you find out that short form really works with your audience because it's got higher responses, higher comments, higher views, then go with that. It's not about recreating the wheel. It's about finding out what works and sticking with it. Because more than likely, once you identify that thing that's working, it's going to keep working for a little while longer. And you just keep doing it until you have the response that you want, and that's going to be sales, content that converts to sales. Another thing that you want to think about is the platform. Where are your people hanging out at? You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be where your people are. And if your people are on Instagram, or if they active in Facebook groups, do they hang out on Pinterest looking for solutions or visual solutions? Do they respond to your emails more than they do your DMs? Don't just guess. Go ahead and ask. I want you to take another action step because we're trying to keep it moving in here. We're trying to make sure that you are taking action, that we're giving you information that is palatable, that you can take in and do. That's why I'm trying to give you these action steps, because we want you to take action, because 2025 is the year of momentum. We're growing, we're moving. Go ahead, drop hashtag momentum if you got what I'm saying. If you are picking up what I'm putting down, put hashtag momentum, because we are trying to get some momentum going in our businesses. 2025, we're already halfway through the year. And so we want you to take some action steps to get you to the next level. So create a quick poll or do some type of question sticker this week and ask your audience, where do you like to consume content? IG, email, YouTube, blogs, podcasts, whatever it is that you want to ask them. Throw it in your questionnaire, see what the response is. And then you want to have value before the ask, right? And the value is not about asking, value before the ask is not about asking about the poll questions to see where they are, but the sale. You don't need to pitch in every single post. At the end, okay, buy my stuff. At the beginning, but before I get started, buy my stuff. You don't need to pitch it, but you do need to plant seeds. So as you are producing your content, every single piece of content should be building trust, right? That know and trust factor. Offering a win, giving a yes girl moment. Right? You want them to be engaged. You want them to be emotionally connected. If not just excited with you for whatever it is that your content is, whatever it is you're sharing in your content. So it'd be the best thing would be to just go ahead and mix it up. You can teach quick tips or how to's, You can tell when I say mix it up is teach, tell, touch, or tease, right? So you can teach quick tips on how to, you can tell your story or a client win. You can touch by get some emotional connection or encouragement, give some emotional connection, build emotional connection, or give some type of encouragement, and then tease, right? That's going to be your sneak peeks, your wait list, your upcoming launches and launch announcements, things like that. And when we're talking about building out your content and being intentional and laying the foundation, typically you want to create what we call pillar posts. I know I've talked about this before, but your pillar posts, at least four. And this is going to be one of each. One thing that you're going to teach, tell, touch, or tease. And in those four areas, there should be something that you are sharing with your audience that is going to teach, tell, touch, or tease. And as you continue to build out your content, then you really do get an opportunity to build up that relationship and have them to then convert into clients and not just spectators. And lastly, we want to talk about systems and strategy. And the best way to do this is to stay consistent without burning out. And we do that by creating a weekly plan that you can actually stick to. Go to your calendar and you pick out what it is, the time allotment that you have, and you create a schedule that you can commit to. So even if you decide I can only commit to 3 days a week, Monday I'm going to post a story behind the scenes, Wednesday I'm going to go live, or I'm going to do some type of reel. And then Friday, I'm going to go ahead and send a short and sweet email. Like on Fridays, we do a newsletter. We do the weekly free up. And that's our new weekly newsletter where we do some type of motivation or encouragement or teaching to help you in your freedom journey. And yes, this is the freedom journey because we're trying to get free from all of the debt, free from all the time constraints, free from all the obstacles that keep us from being with our family during the times that we really want to. And then you can do things like batching. So you can use tools like Trello, Canva, Metricool, Later, Google Calendar. All of these things can help you build out your CEO system. So, one of the things that I've done, and actually my coach, I think I still have them on my calendar. We do a CEO day. So that's the day that you're going to look once a month at all the things that's CEO relevant. So that's your finances, that's your marketing calendar, that's your sales calendar, all that stuff. You're looking at these things and examining them and determining what your next steps are going to be for the next month. You can do the same thing with your business and your content marketing by picking one CEO hour a week. And that's when you use to plan and create or just schedule your content for the month. Even just 30 minutes makes a big difference in how you show up in your communities. What we also want to do is measure and adjust. Don't be afraid of the data. Make sure you're watching the data for the KPIs and see what story it tells. And sometimes it looks like reach and saves are something that you need to watch because you want to know what's attracting, what's bringing people in. You want to look at those comments and shares. What are the things that people are connecting with? You want to look at those clicks and those DM messages because that's really what's going to be telling you what is converting. And so you set one goal that you look at, that you set one goal for your content each week, and then you drive traffic to a lead magnet or book 3 clarity calls or whatever it is. You identify it and then you track it and make sure that it's supporting your goal. And if it's not supporting your goal, you can go ahead and switch up. Remember we talked about mixing it up. If it's not supporting your goal, if it's not making any traction, if it's not bringing any traffic or getting any sales, then you can look at those KPIs and identify what needs to change. It could be your messaging, it could be your images, it could be your captions, wrong hashtags. Look at the information and then you want to keep it fresh. Like I said, mix it up. Try something new each month. Find a podcast that you can get on. Try a new style of carousel. Instead of 3, maybe 6. And instead of 1 word per carousel, you use 5 words. Or instead of bullets, use balloons. I don't know. You definitely want to check out those trending sounds. But just one one experiment can really be a breakthrough because you'll be able to identify what it is that people really like and want. I know that was a whole masterclass, and I might have to change it to a whole masterclass. But really, when it comes to content marketing, we're just scratching the surface. So now, as we go ahead and recap on today's show, connect content that connects. We want to make sure that we know that you know your voice and your audience. We talked about brand voice. We talked about ideal client avatar or your audience. We want you to choose content formats that feel good and serve your people, something that they're going to be able to connect with. Build a simple system to stay consistent without overwhelm. Nobody says you have to be on social, post on social 2, 3 times a day, every day. There are some people that actually say that. Why did I say that? Nobody. There are some people who say that. But what works for you is, and what you're going to be able to stick with and be consistent with is what matters. Once people get into seeing you consistently, that still builds the trust. They do not need to see you every day 3 times a day, especially if you don't have time and you're only working between naps. No, don't overstress yourself. Then you want to also track what works so your content starts doing the heavy lifting and you don't have to do as much. And remember, you don't need to post more. You just need to post more intentionally. Remember that word, intentional. And if you want help mapping your full content strategy without stress, I want you to come on and join me inside the Digimompreneur Academy, where we try to simplify all this 1 month at a time with our learning lab, with our open office hours. Join us. And if this episode really helped you today, I want you to tag me at the Digimompreneur and tell me what you're committing to this week. We left a lot of action steps on the table for you today, but let us know. And if you want to do it privately, you can at the Digimompreneur. You can text me, not text me, DM me. And if you do something, if you're experimenting with any of the social media tips that we gave you, go ahead and tag me so that I can see how you took what I said and just ran with it, and it's making a difference for you. I really want to celebrate with you. So make sure that you keep us in the loop. I enjoyed myself. I hope that you've gotten some hashtag nuggets today. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, comment, and subscribe to our platforms so that you can be alerted when we go live next. Until next time.